Welcome to online learning. As you know, we are reading the chapter 15 Towards Freedom, and in our previous class we have discussed and learned about British as traders and how did they create discontent among Indians. In this video we will learn about revolt against the British and what happened after the revolt. Revolt against the British. Ever since the coming of the British, people in different parts of India had been protesting against their unfair policies. However, there was no unity in their protests. It was only in 1857 that a major revolt broke out. It was not only in 1857 revolt broke out. Many revolts were there, but those revolts were limited to the local level. In different parts of the country there were revolts against the British, but these revolts were limited to a small area. That's why these revolts couldn't create such effect to the British by which they would leave our country. The revolt that broke out in 1857 was not limited to local level, but it was fought in a large area in northern India. Many people fought unitedly. This was the first war of independence, called Sepoy Mutiny or the Great Revolt of 1857. It was an important event in our struggle for freedom. The revolt was started by Indian soldiers serving in the British Army in India. So, why did the British Army revolt against the British? A new rifle called the Enfield had been introduced in India. A rumor spread that the grease used in the bullet was made from the fat of cows and pigs. A greased cartridge. Here we can see a greased cartridge. This is a paper case. Inside it we have gunpowder, and here is the bullet, and at the bottom we have grease. So how to use this cartridge in a rifle? Let us see. Soldiers had to bite off the greased wrapper of the bullet before loading it in the rifle. How it was loaded? The soldier tears open the end of the cartridge with his teeth. Next, he pours the powder down the muzzle of his rifle. Then he thrusts the bullet, still wrapped in the cartridge paper, which makes it a tight fit, into the muzzle. Next, he takes his ramrod, this is ramrod, from its slot beneath the rifle barrel and rams paper, bullet and powder to the bottom of the barrel. So, as we know, in Hindu and Muslim religion, it is against the religious belief to consume cows and pigs. So, how could the Hindu and Muslim do this? They thought it as against their religious sentiments, and they refused to use these rifles and revolted. The revolt started at Meerut and soon spread to large parts of northern and central India. Farmers, craftsmen, and other sections of the society joined the revolt. Here is Meerut. The soldiers declared the last Mughal emperor Bahadur Shah Jafar as their leader. The revolt was led by Nana Sahib and Tantia Tofi at Kanpur. In Jhansi, it was led by Rani Lakshmibai, and at Awadh, it was led by Begum Hazrat Mahal. What happened after the revolt? After the revolt, the British suffraged the First War of Independence. Many factors were responsible for the failure of the revolt. So, what were these factors? First factor for the failure of the revolt was it did not spread to all parts of India. This revolt was only limited to the northern India. Second factor was Indian soldiers did not have sufficient money and weapons. The British soldiers had modern guns and weapons, whereas the Indian soldiers had traditional weapons like sword and bow and arrow. The First War of Independence was limited to these places only. Only in North India this revolt took place. It didn't spread to Eastern India, Western India, or Southern India, and that's why it was not successful. The revolt was not organized properly. On the other hand, the British soldiers were well equipped with modern weapons and were very well organized. After the revolt was suppressed, many Indians were either killed or put into prison. The rule of the East India Company ended in 1858, and the administration of India was taken over by the government of England. Now, our country was ruled by the Queen of England. Whatever the administrative decisions were being taken, these were being taken by the Queen. However, the Indian princes were allowed to rule over their territories. Now today's homework. In which year a major revolt broke out in India? In which two others' name the Great War of Independence is remembered? What was the Enfield? Why did the Great Revolt start? Who was the Mughal emperor during 1857? And who led the revolt in Kanpur, Meerut, and Jhansi? I hope you liked today's class. In our next class, we'll be learning about social and religious reformers and rise of nationalism in India. Thank you. Thank you very much.